still standing. Flag nor fail. Hold strong, people. Hold strong. Revolutionary, frontline standing, solitary. Mind state, kinda scary. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and put me on the front line. 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 Hold strong. I'm tested. Hold strong. I'm tested. Hold strong. I'm tested. I'm tested. I'm tested. Hold strong. I'm tested. Hold strong. I'm tested. Hold strong. I'm tested. Follow me until the end. Follow me if you can. Heart beating faster. Don't forget to breathe and put me on the front line. 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 Hold strong. I'm tested. Hold strong.
What is up, people? So, here's the deal. Got some good news, and I got some bad news. I'll give you the good news first. So, here's the good news. I have found a way, or no, let me start over. I didn't exactly find a way. I know a way now that we are going to be able to call out the governments and call out HARPs and DARPAs and all these organizations that claim they don't control weather, yet they do. So I was listening to a podcast, and there's a guy. He's a paranormal type guy, UFOs and all that good stuff. But more importantly, he's based in Puerto Rico. Not only is he based in Puerto Rico, he was there when the hurricanes hit, and I'm going to go into some of the things he said and some of the similarities to what the locals in Puerto Rico are saying about the hurricane, and why they all believe that it's man-made. What else is there? We're gonna wait for everyone to file on in. What's up, everybody? What's up, Magic Cane? How you doing? I've never seen you before, so assuming maybe you did. How you doing, name Scott? So like I said, guys, kind of go over again what I said. Listening to a podcast. There's a guy who's based in Puerto Rico. Does a lot of paranormal type stuff, but more importantly, kind of put a bunch of puzzle pieces together about how we can find out where or if these a lot of these hurricanes are man-made and or even if they're not man-made, controlled, directed. I wanted to go into some of the DARPA technology that DARPA's been doing lately, and go from there. A couple of things I'm still learning on it, but there's a thing called a crystal battery. Seems pretty cool, so I thought I'd talk about that a little bit. But kind of there's some other cool stuff. Check this: a nuclear powered laser drill. Basically, this thing is bores tunnels, drills tunnels, whatever you want to call it. Which would explain how military bases. I know personally for a fact, Camp Pendleton in San Diego has at least 85 miles worth of these tunnels from Camp Pendleton to Edson Range. If you guys live in Southern California, you know that's pretty damn far. Yeah, yep. How you doing? Flat? Yeah, definitely want to talk about that. So, there's a few things I'm pretty sure a lot of people know about, but we'll go into it. yeah, I mean the past 2 days I've just been drilling myself on stuff I already knew, but then found out more about. Um, I've been absent for a week. Um, did a backpacking trip up in on the PCT. Did a little bit more, so that was pretty cool. Had fun doing that. What's up, Ted? How you doing, sir? Yep, yep. Yeah, I'm a noob when it comes to this crystal battery thing, but it seems pretty damn cool. I actually want to try it soon. Cool, cool. No worries, Ted. Uh, got a few visuals, but most of I can explain. And I know you. Once you hear it, you'll probably end up going to do your own thing with it. But what I was gonna say. I know kind of getting repetitive, but hey, the Discord server is building. Had quite a few debates on it now. Last night I did a debate, discussion. Um, that was the upload that came out that I did last night. Um, pretty cool. With a guy that I've been talking to over there, Kosa. He's pretty cool. He's a Glober. Uh, kind of weird, but hey, everybody is. Let's go into this. We'll start with one. Uh, so I personally have known about this for a while. Um, proving it was a pain in the ass, mainly because everyone we fucking deal with in the on the mainstream on a regular uh, is our Glovers, and all they want to do is deny everything we talk about. But I mean, can't can't really deny what I'm about to show. Like I was saying a minute ago, the nuclear powered laser drill, or as I would call it, nuclear powered tunneler. Um, the one I knew about was this was probably a couple years ago. Was out of Canada. Um, Lovat was the company name. Um, but I know this is their response. This is what they use to uh, to drill military tunneling. You know, like I said, I personally know Camp Pendleton has them all the way up to Edson Range. It's a good 45 miles in distance between each other. So I'm almost 1,000% positive this is how they do it. Let me go ahead and get that picture pulled up real quick. All right, there we go. But yeah, it's so basically what this thing does is it bores through obviously uh, mainly rock. Um, what I thought was cool about this thing when I first started reading about it was what it does. So it drills, and then as it drills, it actually melts down the rock, and it coats the walls, which actually makes the structure itself. Um, in one of these files. Oh, there it is. Okay, so this is the machine that I originally saw when I first came about this. So I thought this one was damn cool. Um, this is basically the whole thing. I believe there are extensions to it, but I haven't been able to find the actual things for that yet. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, so the link in my description is invalid. Yeah, but yeah, I'll get that link for you guys. Sorry about that. Um, but yeah, so basically what this thing does is it tunnels. As like I said, it melts down the rock and actually the um, coats the walls, and it makes the structure itself makes it that strong. Um, as far as the stats that I got from this thing, it basically is able to tunnel 7 miles a day. Um, being in the industry, that is unheard of. Any average, let's say like New York, anywhere where you live, where there's a subway or underground train system or something like that, and roads or something. Just realize that it takes them. They're probably doing a 100 feet a week, maybe, um, depending on the task at hand, what they're doing. There is a lot of companies I know of that will easily will punch a quarter mile a day. But I mean, these things, they're using blasting blasting equipment, um, heavy haulers and loaders and stuff. I mean, it's a huge production. Definitely not something this one machine is capable of doing. So I thought that was pretty damn awesome. It's it's crazy to realize when you realize how much 7 miles is in one day, that it getting that link right now, guys. Sorry about that. I don't know why that link ended. It should definitely not have. Here we go. Let's see. All right, so that link's good to go. Let's see, and I'm gonna try to stay with you guys in the chat. You don't have to say it here if you don't want to. I guess it's out of wait. Oh no, 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 yeah, my server is completely open to everybody. Well, there are different drill systems. One is supposedly nuclear, but oh, okay, no. So here's the thing: you're thinking of the drill, because they do make there's a nuclear drill that they make, and I came across that last night when I was looking this stuff up, because I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. Pull it up right now. But yeah, it's kind of have to dig to find this machine that you guys are seeing on the screen right now. But and on a regular, you know, here, an average, what it's called an MPLD. When you Google it, what you're gonna end up finding is basically the drill itself. So this is what I think you're thinking of. I'm going to just share my screen, that way you guys can, as I do it myself. There we go. So this is what you're going to end up seeing when you type in NPLD. NPLD is basically, obviously, the abbreviations for it. When I was looking for it, it was a big pain in the ass to find. Hopefully it'll just pop up for me now, because let me see. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So I think this one was the schematics for it. Basically, it says exactly how it works. Um, so basically, like, as you can see here, heat. The most abrasive obstacle to deep drilling is heat. The deeper you go, the hotter things get. We know that because the deepest drilled, uh, uh, deepest. I'm tongue tied. The deepest hole that has been drilled is about, I think it's about 7.5, 7.75 miles. Um, Anyone who does know about it, they were using diamond tipped drill bits, and which is basically the hardest material to use, period. And it melted them down. It wore them out. I think at one point it even snapped a couple of them, like popped them, which is unheard of if you know the industry. See if I can find some more pictures of this stuff, rather than you guys having to stare at a F. Okay, here we go. Perfect. So basically, this is the U.S. version of what they have now. Um, yes, I think, yeah, you were talking about that in the chat. See, I hadn't seen this one before. The only one I had seen was the one that you guys saw on the stream, which is this one. And this one is actually the Canadian one. I'm not really sure what the American version is called. But yeah, it's I mean these things have actually been around for a long time. Like I said, they do come with extensions. There we go. So this would be in each extension of. This is what it would look like. The front being where on the left, where it rips everything off. But the beauty of this machine is it lies on the outside, inside and out. What it does is it pulses. So as the rock falls and it augers through everything, the nuclear fusion it literally melts it with nuclear fusion. It's awesome. If I could ever get to see one of these things, it'd be a wet dream in the making. Um, a few of these ones I hadn't really seen before, so I didn't really want to get into it too much. But I had came across this. This is this isn't to spec. It's not exactly. I wouldn't give it 100% ability for saying it's how it is. But pull this map up real quick. But this is supposed to be basically where these tunnels go. I personally have never heard of them actually extending fully across part of the United States. As you can see down in the bottom left in California, um, that is what's it called? Santa Clara? Forget the name. I don't even know how I could forget the name. But it's offshore and it runs up north. Edson is these basically the first bottom inland one, and the top one is the ones I'm actually pretty close to at the moment. Um, Obviously, I don't think I'd ever be able to see it, but yeah, it's pretty crazy when you realize how they got all these tunnels dug. Um, I've been told, they couldn't possibly have these tunnels because it'd take forever to build them. Well, 7 miles a day. Um, I saw patents for this from 55 years ago. So I'm assuming they've been just born for what, probably 40, 35, 40 years. Calculate 7 times that. I'm not doing it, but yeah, there is definitely no end to what they'll do. Trying to remember where I'm at on my chat so I can keep up with you guys. All right, perfect. So let me see. What's up, Shroomy? Yeah, so like I was saying, this is exactly how all these tunnels that are people are saying or don't exist. Well, I'm showing you the proof that these machines do exist. They're no longer quote unquote just patents anymore. Um, and letting everyone know, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the panel in a few minutes. But for right now, I'm kind of just want to go over this stuff. Next, let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and share a couple of those links in the chat. Um, this is the one that's shown on the screen as we speak. Let me see what is going on. Is my watch page doing? Seems good. Okay. Try that again. All right. It's not letting me share a link. Why? I should be able to share a link in my own chat. I don't know. All right. I know what I can do. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in my in my descriptions. Might as well get that just that that's the first link. It's in the description, guys. I don't know why it's not letting me share it in chat. Good. Okay. I get that Discord link in there as well. Apparently that one is gone. That here. Actually, I'll just I hate when that happens. There we go. Sorry about that. Just going to get this link in the descriptions. All right, guys. Yep, it's there. It should be good to go. Back to this watch page. All right. So, like I was saying, yeah. So I mean, the evidence is there. I've actually talked to a few people that want to play that. It's not real, blah 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 game, but I mean, it's in the pudding. Yeah. Again, like I said, it's. Let's see. I know they have. I was trying to find. I know they have a couple of patents in here somewhere that were talking about it. I'm going to be doing a lot more research into it so I can have a better explanation for exactly how it runs and works. I'm also going to find a couple of the projects that they're doing. Hopefully, that way we'll be a little bit better on it. Let's see. All right. Get out of here. Because next I want to talk about Hurricane Maria. So, like I said, I was listening to a podcast, and he had added in it at a certain point that Hurricane Maria to the locals um, seemed very, very man-made. And when I heard that, it was like, whoa, because basically that's my wheelhouse. That's I'm doing all the harp stuff, and so I kind of wanted to run over exactly what they were talking about. Um, what the locals are saying basically is that it all came into fruition, I guess you would say. One of the big red flags for this situation was that apparently Puerto Rico is going into what is called it's not a bankruptcy because I guess I guess whatever way they were filing it, basically it's like going into bankruptcy, um, which is actually a very historic situation because apparently it's the first U.S. territory to have filed for bankruptcy. Now, um, I guess Puerto Rico's been asking for a lot of government funding, and obviously to no prevail for them. So what a lot of the locals believe is that this hurricane was steered to hit Puerto Rico with the intentions to have FEMA come, because when FEMA comes and it basically bails out these governments in these natural disaster situations. I know that's a little far fetched. I get it, but hear me out. Um, these are the locals saying this stuff, so it's a little different. Puerto Rico, I've actually been there before. It is a very small island. It's nothing big at all. It's I think what was it? The numbers are I think it's 100 miles. Yeah, 100 miles east to west, 35 miles north to south. So I mean, it's very small. But basically, what the rumor out there is that it's happened because of this bankruptcy. Um, as I don't know how many people know it, but Nexrad, our harp, there is a harp heater in Puerto Rico. I can go ahead and show you where that is. Um, there you go. That is here. The red dot in the top left of the map itself is where this the harp heater is located at, and it's very important. In what I'm trying to explain, that you remember where this is, and now I'm going to go over it again. Now, uh, now here's the crazy part in which I saw. Um, so this is where the harp heater is. Now down here in the bottom right, south. what would be considered southwest. 60, what does that say? 64 miles from the Harpeter is actually where the hurricane hit. Now, here's the fun part. Uh, right around here, where I'm linked up at, right under the Yaqui National Forest. I don't even know how to say it. I'm not even gonna butcher it. Okay, right about here is a Nexrad. Then also right here, just south of San Juan, is another Nexrad. Now, if you don't know, Nexrad, what I've figured out, and a lot of others, um, especially Climate Viewer 3D, that's where I get a lot of my information from and research starting points. Um, Nexrads are used to keep the RF waves signals strong. So as they go and they're transmitting these, they lose strength. But they use these Nexrads to actually skip and keep the power, if not build power. So basically, what you guys can kind of see is a path. Um, Everything inside those black markers right there is literally where the path of Hurricane Maria went through. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the that up real quick so you guys can reference it. Kind of shows right off the bat, like personally to me, it's but yeah, I want to go ahead and show you guys that so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. What's up real quick? Sorry about this. I would have been prepared, but got a sick little man, so I had to tend to that. I'm sure you guys understand. Let me see that picture. All right, that's what I'll do. Up here. There we go. So here's literally the path that it went through. Go ahead. I'm gonna blow it up real quick so you guys can see exactly what I mean. Um, Hopefully you guys can see my cursor. Um, right under that red line. All right. Hopefully that will last. Let me see. Check the watch page real quick. All right, we're back on. Cool. Sorry about that, guys. So like I said, let's see, where am I? Okay, we're good. All right, so like I said, that the path to me, it's a little far fetched to think that it could be different. I mean, like I said, there are coincidences, but my next, I'm gonna do another live stream. I'm gonna do Harvey. I want to do a couple other hurricanes that are in question. Let me see. Double check. Okay, I'm good. Hurricanes that are, yeah. All right. Hear a little feedback, but it's all good. Sorry about that, guys. So like I said, I'm gonna be doing a little bit. I'm gonna do a lot more research on it. Um, but to me personally, I think it's a little uncanny that that the path. Oh, there we go. That the path of the storm, it matches exactly where I showed you guys this where landfall was. Um, like you guys can see on the screen, inside that box, inside those black lines, that is the path of where Hurricane Maria hit. Like I said, southwest corner to bottom uh, was where it hit landfall, and then went straight towards that red dot, which is actually a harpeater. It's very known. I have the pictures up on the link on the side of the map right there. Um, it's it's just too much of a coincidence, I guess you would say. Um, Kind of go a little deep what the guy was saying, and so like I said, uh, guy who was on this podcast. Matter of fact, the Gravity podcast I showed or I ran weeks ago. Same podcast, Richard Scare. This is episode 58. I'm talking about. Guy's name is John P. Warren. He runs the Bermuda Triangle Research Center. Um, but like I said, he he talks to a lot of the locals. And like I said, a lot of locals believe that it was man-made. Another situation that he was talking about with the locals there is this money situation. So he compared it to what would happen if there was an EMP attack. So this is kind of why I wanted to bring it up. Um, Especially because I was having a conversation with a few guys a little while ago about about the crypto, Bitcoin and all that stuff, and how unsafe it is to me at least. Um, but what the main thing he was saying was when the storm hit, all the weather stations went out, which would easily be a mask for what I was trying to explain. But more importantly, all the banks shut down for months on end. They what they were doing was they're actually giving an allowance. Now you had to have money in your bank, but they were only allowing the locals to get $100 a week, not a day, a week. And that would actually be the situation, if we did get an EMP attack. Slowly but surely, the infrastructure would start building back up, and they would start giving us an allowance once money became usable again. Let's see. So, like I said, I mean, all these things seem, I mean, too much of a coincidence to me. Like I said, I'm gonna do a shit ton more research into it because it does make too many things that just make sense to run with each other, the way that works. Um, but like I said, there's a harp heater in Puerto Rico. There's 4 NexRads, and they are all in that box. Um, so I'm gonna definitely get into that over the next couple weeks. I'll be doing a lot of live streams over this whole way of finding out if they're being steered or not. Because basically what he said was it was odd that he stated 2 different hurricanes besides this one, but I would like to look into it before I use those as my evidence or in the research. But he said it was odd the way this hurricane came, and it literally hit within miles of the next rad. And then, like I said, as you guys can see, the path from where the next rads were on this southwest southwest corner, northeast, all the way up that box right there. Um, so like I said, I'm gonna get into that a lot more. I think that's pretty interesting in situation of did they do it type situation. Um, Another thing I wanted to get into was also the free energy, the crystal battery. So, like I said, I'm a novice on this one, so I'm literally going to be reading everything I'm going to say off my notes, pretty much. But one of the big things that I noticed on this was uh, was the correlation between the crystal battery and the electrogravitics, which is basically anti gravity, or I guess what they call it, or it's known also as is an ion wind. But this would be the system that I've been trying to, I guess, find, or I have assumed could be used for space. Because I'm a flat earther. I do believe we go to space. I don't believe we do orbiting. Um, so my task has always been to try to figure out what are they doing if they're not orbiting, and this technology would be exactly something that would work in that situation. Um, the crazy part about it that I found was uh, that company Boeing, has actually been doing a lot of research on this electrogravitics.
since the 1950s. Patents, research papers. Now, I don't have any proof on it, but it has definitely been rumored and almost rumored to a truth that the U.S. government actually uses this technology in things like the B-2 bomber, the TR-3. I actually don't know what that is, so I'm gonna actually go ahead and look and see what that is right now, and we'll kind of do that now on my screen. Perfect. All right, so go military TR. We'll check out and see what that is. Actually, I kind of want to keep that. It's gone, but I want to show you. Also, I have another screen on here that's gonna be. So yeah, see, these things aren't. It's not fake. They're real. Obviously, I honestly, this is right now is the first time I'm actually seeing these things. Um, it says here is a couple additional TR3 images, blurry, unfortunately, followed by a German video from June 2014, which the craft is quite clear. I'm gonna be honest with you. The image I'm looking at that we're looking at right now, it doesn't kind of seems fake to me. Um, Maybe it's just the imaging itself. I'm gonna go find something more viable, I guess we call it, to say this is what's happening. Um, I want to find like a government patent for it or something. I mean, from what I've heard, this TR3 it's real. It's there. If they're using it, I guess. But I've never seen documents on it or anything. But and if you guys have heard of this in the chat, let me know because I'm completely interested in it. I want to figure out what it's like. What's up, New York? How you doing, sir? Yeah, I was just actually going over Hurricane Maria and the coincidences of how it hit with the fact that there's a harp heater and the next rad uh, on Puerto Rico, and it happened to go through the path of the Maria was exactly where the next rads and the harp are. So I thought that was pretty crazy. Right now, I'm kind of just looking to the TR3. I've never really done any research or heard of this until days ago. So I'm, like I said, I am literally kind of learning it as we go right now. Um, Let me see if I can find some docs for it. This is what I'm trying to find right now is something government wise gonna show me. I don't really like this whole alien stuff, so I don't really want. Yeah, see, I have a hard time uh, getting stuff off this, and if feeling feasible. All right. Her focus claims, yeah, see, the U.S. Air Force is possession of at least two top secret nuclear powered anti grav. These vehicles are used as space platforms by a secret space program. Well, see, here's the thing. We saw the TR-3Bs on separate occasions while stationed at Groom Lake in the Air Force. Let's go ahead and back out because what I want to do, I want to find something or something government. Okay. About you guys, but I do like in WikiLeaks. And as of right now, guys, I can't see the chat, but I'm just gonna look over this real quick, and I'll be right back in there. Or saying something I'm not ignoring. Restore UFO. See, what I want to do find something. I first of all, I don't really believe UFOs, so it's hard for me to want to. Apparently, this document. Yeah, so basically, I'm gonna have to do a lot. I'm gonna do some more research in this one as well. Go ahead and get back to the chat. So, like I said, if you guys let me know. What's up, Flat Earth Unity? You changed it, huh? All right, my bad. Let me get that turned up real quick. Thank you, sir. Definitely helps to get some feedback on that. All right, damn. That should be damn, way too much. All right, how about now? Oh, nope, too much. There you go. So that should be all right now. If it's spiking, let me know and I'll fix it. But like I said, yeah, this is yeah, I 100% believe that Maria was made by Harp. Hey, P Mars, how you doing, sir? Get out of here. Anyway, yeah, actually, I'll go over it again because it's actually pretty interesting and it's pretty crazy how it worked. See if I can find it. So, like I was saying, I had the Google Map up, and then I switched over. Let's see. Oh, perfect. So I'll kind of go over it again. It's actually pretty simple to go over. So this is Puerto Rico. Let me see something real quick. All right. You should be able to hear me now, Flat Earth Unity. If not, let me see, because I should be able to hear, because all my settings are exactly where they were before. I mean, it should be working. I can't think of any other reason why it's not now. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me fine now. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm back on again. Okay, so like I was saying, kind of get through this real quick. I'm pretty sure you guys are buffering at the moment, but you should be just fine in a second. All right, should be good. Okay, so like I was saying, the where you guys are seeing right now, that dot. I gotta get back over to the screen so I can control it. So that is where the HARP heater is in Puerto Rico. I'll kind of go over this again, and I also I'll show you guys the path of Maria. So this is kind of what I was going over a little while ago. I'm going to draw a box. This box is very important. So this is where the HARP heater is, obviously. Here in Yazaboca is where Maria hit land. Just is it north or east actually of that right here where the other line is. That is where one of the next rads are. Then there is another next rad just south of San Juan, and then I came right back to here. So that box you're seeing right now is the path of Maria. A lot of the locals in Puerto Rico believe that. That's why. Believe that the hurricane was man-made themselves, basically because Puerto Rico's going bankrupt, and from what they're saying, the government wanted FEMA to come in as their quote-unquote bailout. Go ahead and show you the Maria
path. So as you can see, the path is literally right through Puerto Rico, right through where that box is, and that's to me, it's a hell of a coincidence. You know what I mean? Um, where else is it? A lot of the things that like the locals are saying, like I said, is they feel like it was a bailout to bring FEMA because they're not even getting any. They're not seeing this help FEMA is supposed to be getting. They're still, as far as I was told, um, and what the guy said in the podcast, there's still a lot of places in Puerto Rico that are still out of, still don't have electricity. Um, he was saying at 7 months after the hurricane, the banks were actually issuing people $100 a week allowance. That was the most they were able to withdraw from their banks once the structure came back. And then there's a bunch of other little telltale signs that I see that I'm going to get into. Yes, Uber. How you doing, sir? Yeah, yeah. That's basically. Let me put that back up so you guys can stay there. Kind of go over it again. Yeah. So that Uber, that box, with the black lines, that's that red dot is where the harp heater is. Um, the first line, the long line, is goes to where hurricane hit. The second, as you follow that line, the next point is where a next rad is. Next point on the south of San Juan is another next rad, and then back to the harp heater. And what you're looking at is the path of Hurricane Maria. Um, or after Maria left Puerto Rico, little stop or die. Yeah, well, here's the thing. But especially this season of hurricanes, the main thing we've been seeing is these hurricanes have actually built strength. When Maria hit Puerto Rico, it was already a 5, but it stayed a 5 until got into Cuban waters. Harvey, it didn't hit 5 until after it hit land, and these are not characteristic of hurricanes by any means. Yeah. Okay, I actually just saw, yeah, the reason it was buffering is my signal kept dropping. Um, it should be good to go now. I'm watching it on my watch screen, so it should be good to go. If not, you may need to drop it down to maybe 480. I'm using my HD right now, and it's running fine. So hopefully it is for you guys as well. Um, yeah, but it's this. I got most of this information from a podcast I was listening to. You guys can look this guy up, John P. Warren. His main thing is he's a Bermuda Triangle researcher, um, paranormal activity type guy. Uh, so I mean, like I said, that's the main reason I'm gonna go just deep into the research part of it. But then that's what led me into this, where it was the electrogravitic, um, would be my version of how space is how they travel in space, how they go to space. Um, I don't see why an orbit would be necessary with this type of technology. If this TRB um, craft is real, then it almost guarantees exactly what I was thinking they get around space with. Um, which then keeps going, drives you down to basically this crystal battery is the guy was talking about all this stuff, and it turned into the crystal battery thing, which is what I wanted to try. And I always assumed there's no way to have free energy. I didn't think it was possible. What's up, Billy? How you doing, sir? Oh yeah, any help you can, New York, that'd be awesome. Uh, so basically, wait, if for anybody who doesn't, this was the best way he explained it for me to understand even what the idea of this crystal battery was. So, back in the day, probably about 15 years ago, your barbecues, you had that red button that you push and it click and it make the spark. well, the way he explained it was is that's actually a quartz. It's a um, like a rock. It's a quartz rock, and that's what would put pressure on it. Or I'll actually read it. So it says, push the button would create a pressure on the quartz, creating a spark, which is why there was no battery or a flint involved in that situation, never having to replace it. So I guess um, John Hutchison is the guy who first did this, I guess. He said he figured out how to keep crystals under a constant pressure all the time using Epsom salts, borax, various crystals, different type of quartz, melted down, then poured into a copper tube with a magnesium rod. The guy who was talking, the John P. Warren, he also says that you can use an aluminum rod. But basically, what it does is the crystals, the quartz, are constantly growing, and it's that's what puts the pressure on the tube, which produces volts. So, in a sense, it is definitely free energy. The how it works. The only issue I saw with it, which couldn't be actually classified as free energy, is he said at one point the copper piping expanded and broke. He said the crystal still continued to grow, but but obviously you would have to replace that copper, which would then not make it free energy. So I'm kind of still looking into it. Like I said, I literally just found out about this and heard it, like the idea of it a couple of days ago. So I have no idea where to go from where I just stopped at. Anybody I know, White Magician, you said you seem to know a lot about it. If you had anything to add, if I missed something, great, add that in. Um, but right now, like last night, I did a lot of research on how you would melt these things down because it's obviously not just a throw it in a fire or boil it shit. So it's definitely a technique that's not just everyone's doing it. I did Google it. There are a lot of versions of it though. Go ahead and pop that up real quick. You guys have seen enough of this shit right here. Go ahead and find this real quick. I'm interested in figuring out this technology. That's pretty badass. Just even to have the idea to try it would be pretty cool. And from what I was, the guy was saying online, um, there's actually, I guess, quite a few ways to do this. The way he was explaining it was he used electricity to do this, and electrogravitic, the iron wind and quote anti-gravity. So I thought that was pretty cool. Crystal batteries started wondering, would it make an initial charge for the PMH without a generator or a manufactured car battery? Led me to cement, earth, water, salt water batteries with finally a crystal battery. The main reason for this have caught my attention is because their lifespan seems to be off the records. Some have claimed to run LEDs for 2 years, 2+ years, and motors for 6 months before just shutting them down. Others have had 6 motors at a time running off earth batteries. So it makes you wonder what is possible when connecting a ton of these in series for more voltage or parallel for more amperage. So I mean, just that alone, just that paragraph alone, just the endless ideas you could do with these things is crazy to me. I had no idea. I heard a lot about free energy, but not in this way. This one is a lateral crystal battery running a pulse motor. Let's play this. And give credit to it doesn't have a tag name. Hopefully good to go. I don't have to worry about all that stuff. Of course, I'm buffering while I try to watch it. 0 cents because I actually have really good signal right now. I better
happy about how well, I'm pretty happy about how this.
All right, back on. Okay, time for this at the moment. So yeah, like I said, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end it. I kind of went over what I wanted to anyway, and I want to continue on. I'm gonna go do it at the Discord server. The link is in the description. It's a new one, so it will work. And hopefully I can see you guys there. Hopefully I kind of went through enough of the basis of the Hurricane Maria. I'm gonna do a lot more research and get into it a lot more. But yeah, it's to me it's open shut case. I guarantee you I'm gonna have a lot more info on it, and really get into what's going on when it comes down to it, because it's too many coincidences. Sorry, that say a lot of these hurricanes are man-made, and there's too many ways to prove it now. So again, guys, I hope I see you guys over at the Discord, where I can go into this. We can get into this a lot more. I actually have a lot more things I could show you about this hurricane stuff when I'm not, strapped behind this fucking encoder and OBS. So, like I said, hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks for coming by, guys. And I'll have more. Hopefully tonight I'll probably go live again and with more info on this.
Revolutionary, frontline standing, solitary, mind state, kinda scary. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath and put me on the front line. Put me on the front line.